He can cook a shoe and it'll taste delicious. You don't even have to bring your own, he says. And that's neat. It's Tom White. This is Teaching to the Test Pattern.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to Teaching to the Test Pattern. I am Tom White, your host for this show. And today we're going to talk about NDI tools and how to use them to make your life easier when you're using multiple NDI sources. So if you don't know what NDI is, make sure that just skip this one. Go listen to another podcast. Go listen to another episode. But then come back in a couple of weeks. I've got a great interview set up that I'm finishing right now, and it's going to give you the details on what NDI is. This episode is for those who are already using it and want more ways to use the footage or to set up to get their footage or inputs or whatever more easily. I got to take a minute and thank our sponsor, SchoolVideoNews.com. SchoolVideoNews.com is the place where you can get all the information you need as a video production teacher. Thousands and thousands of articles, including mine this month, about the sophomore slump and surprising people with the amount of stuff that we do as video teachers. Again, SchoolVideoNews.com. Thousands and thousands of articles about things that actually matter to you, a broadcast video teacher here in 2000 and I guess it's 2020 now. So go check it out, schoolvideonews.com, for everything you need to be a better teacher, or at least fool people into thinking you are. So let's dive in. The first thing you need to do is go to ndi.tv/tools if you haven't already. And what I'm learning is that a lot of people who have are using a TriCaster or vMix or OBS. They've got the NDI stuff plugged in and it's working, and it's just they've done that, and that's simple enough. If you're doing one camera, maybe two cameras, that's probably plenty. Our studio right now, we have two cameras, actually three cameras, and we use our graphics, and we also monitor it across several different desktops around the classroom. So we're going to start with downloading the NDI tools. And to do that, you go to ndi.tv/tools and you download the tools for whatever's appropriate for you. I've downloaded it for Macs for our lab. Every Mac has it in our room. I also have it on laptops for our Windows PCs. And what it is it's a collection of tools that you can use to make your life crazy easy. The first thing is NDI Studio Monitor, and what that is exactly what it sounds like. You pull it up, and you can pull up whatever NDI feeds you want to see, and it shows them if they're connected and all that stuff. So Studio Monitor is basically, that's what we use, so our graphics person doesn't have to turn their neck to see what the actual program feed is with their graphic overlays. It's right there on the computer next to them, so they don't have to, it's just, and we have it up on the big board, and we have it around in different positions so that we can monitor what's happening on our broadcast. We take the actual program feed from our TriCaster out, is usually how we monitor that. The next one that I use is NDI for Creative Cloud, and that's on all of our machines in the room as well. And what that does is that allows me to take whatever's in the program window of a computer and put it into our show. So if I have a student who's up against a deadline and they didn't get the video exported for the newscast, I don't have to scrap that that video. They can literally play it out of their timeline in Premiere or After Effects or Character Animator or any of those things. So it's super cool. It doesn't help with the whole deadline thing, teaching kids how to hit a deadline, but it definitely helps you get a good show on the air. And so you have import, or that's the NDI for Adobe Creative Cloud. You have import IO for Adobe CC. Again, what that does is that allows you to import from your TriCaster or from whatever your NDI source is into Adobe and kick it out to whatever your output is. And then the one that I think is most underutilized by teachers is Access Manager. And what Access Manager does is it kind of forces whatever your receiver is, it forces that receiver to recognize the NDI source. So if you have the IP address for your NDI units, you can pop it in there, you can label it, and that's how it shows up in the system on that machine. So Access Manager is super cool. It really is easy. You have three options. You have new, edit, and delete. So on inputs or sources, you create a new one, you name it, you give it the IP address, it recognizes it, it works. You can edit. So sometimes our IP address bounces. So I just had to go in and change remote camera 2, change the IP address to whatever the new one is, and then go from there. The other cool thing is NDI test patterns. And what that does is it allows you to send a test pattern from any unit. So if you have NDI test patterns on a laptop and you want to make sure that you have a good signal before you send that signal from the laptop later with scan converter, you just send a test pattern and it will send it back audio and video to whatever your receiver unit is so you can test the signal. I mentioned scan converter. Any computer monitor can be an NDI source with scan converter. You literally just open scan converter. It throws whatever's on your desktop, and you can sort through, if you have multiple outputs. So if you're using ProPresenter or something like that, you can decide which output you want to send to scan converter. And it sends it, and it gets picked up by whatever your receiver is, and it's super easy and super awesome. The other thing that is only for Windows, and it's in beta still, is the NDI analysis tool. I use this all the time. I don't know how I would survive without it, to be honest with you, because occasionally our IP addresses bounce, and since we're on a school network, NDI doesn't work like it does in the real world, so to speak, so I have to know what the IP address is in order to get it into our TriCaster. So NDI analysis tool, it's a very basic tool. You go in and you say, you type in NDI analysis.exe/find, and it scans the network for your NDI sources, shows you their name, shows you their label, gives you their IP address, and then you can put it into Access Manager and get what you need from your NDI sources. So again, super cool tools, ndi.tv/tools. Get started, go play, go figure it out. Again, NDI works for TriCaster, it works for Wirecast, it works for OBS, it works for vMix. It works for a lot of mixing software and hardware solutions. So definitely go check it out and find a way to make some awesome. Thank you for listening.
Teaching to the test pattern.